Alrighty. Trade breakdown today. W day. We took a few entries. I got pretty fucking greedy at one point, but it's all good because we made it back. Followed into some extra entries. So originally, what I wanted to see, I didn't actually notice this at the time, but just for confluence of today, should pay attention. 2 hour zone, pretty clear right on the screen. I don't trade like fair value gaps and stuff like that, but if you looked on like the 4 hours and the fair value gap or imbalance or whatever, I didn't wake up until pretty late, so I wasn't awake until probably around like 9 o'clock. First thing I noticed is there's a clear 15-minute zone right here, expected. Just kind of trying to catch a move like down here. There was no real like target. I wasn't aiming for the lows or anything like that. I'd pretty much scalp the 1 minute. So I mean, another thing that you should pay attention to is you could see that we obviously didn't react off of this zone. It's important to pay attention to ES as well. It's clearly like we tapped into this 15-minute and then we pushed along with it. As well as we didn't tap this 15-minute zone at all, but NQ did tap it, so that's why I was okay going short because it made sense, and then the 1 minute gave me confirmation. So initially, I wanted a deeper tap into the zone, but it didn't give me it. And you can see me waiting for that. I saw basically bullish structure. Try to take this zone long right here. Took a fat loss, just a -1. Not that fat, but chunky. Looking to saw the lows involved. I wanted to take this basically up higher into the zone up here, or to at least up here. Didn't get that and ended up becoming the liquidity. Again, this was also a valid long. I just, right here, I just didn't end up taking it because I wasn't too comfortable kind of fading the higher time frame after I already got slaughtered once. So the minute this broke, I retrace and I took this off the, let's see, 15-second refinement. Yeah, so my trade was literally off this candle. I just had my stop loss a few points above. Targeting the low, you could see that, I was an asshole right here. Should have taken profit. I was up 4.5 R. And then slapped me break even right here and then ran the target, which of course I deserve because, I'm not managing actively. I'm just kind of setting limits and I'm like, oh, I'd rather take a break even instead of, I don't know. To me, the dumbest shit is like when you're like, oh, I'd rather take a break even and miss the 0.1 extra percent or 0.1 R extra because it makes sense with your context. I actively managed the minute this low should have gotten taken. I should have just taken profit because this happens a few different times. So yeah, you can't see this, but here's a -1. Basically I took like a point out of this trade. So I mean, we're still like a -1 for the day. Notice this on NQ, and basically what I was seeing is like, okay, this was a flush above these highs. I basically was undecided right here whether I should go bearish or bullish because I was seeing this push down off the 15-minute, and then we see a random break up. But I'm like, why the hell are we breaking up? I didn't really have any context to like, this doesn't make sense. So I based my bias around this 1 minute zone. And then after I saw all this price action in here, like 3 to 4 minutes inside this 1 minute zone, kind of consolidating back and forth against like sellers here and buyers here, and they're just consolidating, I immediately knew that this is probably going to get flushed through. And well, you saw the flush, as well as my bias kind of backed that up a little bit, so to speak. So I was looking on the 15-second. Immediately, I saw a pretty obvious trade. We traded below right here. This is my zone. Took the 15-second entry right here. And then I saw this retrace right here. This fat doji was enough for me to just kind of stack another order here and add to my position. At this point, when I added, my stop loss was right here. Moved it up like there, and this one was break even. So I was basically risk-free in one trade, up like 3.5 R. And my target was this bottom zone. I believe it's like a 1 minute or something on the left. Yeah, take a look at the 1 minute here. Ended up tapping this and just completely just falling for the rest of the day. And I mean, like if you're just taking these trades, you're seeing a low push, and then here's a second push. The minute we wick this, like this, basically, for me, this is a failure to continue. It's just like pretty obvious that we're consolidating right when we can't fail the lows. And if you're paying attention to ES on the 5 minute or 15 minute, you can see like there's clearly a zone here, so I would take profit. Higher time frame zones kind of have precedence over the lower time frame ones. Like I'm not gonna necessarily put my whole damn trade based on this 1 minute breaking lower into a 15 minute. That just makes no sense. So it ended up being like a 2R trade stacked as well as a 4R trade off of this zone right here. So it ended up being like a 3R plus a -1 or -1 and then plus a break even for the day. So that is my day. Yeah, there's definitely a lot better trades to take earlier in the day. I love to see these kind of moves because like an easy thing for me is when it's super aggressive down and super aggressive back up. Kind of know I don't know if you watched Dodgy's videos on ICT or whatever, but he trades kind of waits for this imbalance to get traded through and then takes a buy stop if it's super aggressive, if it's in an area of interest like this, basically fading this zone, expecting it to blow through. I do the same thing, except I'll zoom in here and look for like kind of a 15-second confluence to take it long. And so a good example of that would be we're chopping around. My 15-second zone is either here and or here. The reason why I'd be more ideal in taking this top one is because if you kind of just play price, this is like this is the down move on the higher time frame. This is probably like a 1 second, one candle pushes up, taps into it like a Ment FX MB. So to me, this is maybe mitigated. And so you could take a risk entry like here, put your stop loss below this zone, or you could just take it for better R right here and risk a few more contracts. But ideally, if you get this kind of candle, especially beneath all these lows, like this is basically sweeping lows. This is an instant fucking buy right here underneath the candle. A lot of times it does trade into the candle. Like I don't usually see it like move directly off into profit. I usually see like a few candles like this, trades back into it, and then continues. So there might be something there for entries in the future. And then realistically, you could just target either this high or the basically the high right here or this zone right here. I mean, if you look to the left, there's pretty much nothing there. But obviously, I don't hold trades past like 2 to 4R regularly at least. Yeah, it's a pretty white and black strategy. Look for higher time frame. Look at the 1 minute, see if it's working. Fade the lower time frame zones that don't match with the higher time frame, and then take profit where the first area could reverse or something like that. I think the last 3 weeks I haven't had a loss, or last 3 weeks I haven't had a losing day, which has been pretty good. Ended up getting my funded futures account reset because I was micro scalping, meaning I was like taking 10-second trades that are worth under 5 points or something like that, and they don't fuck with that, I guess, because it's gambling or something like that. I mean, kind of an example is like we see push up for bullish, push down, and bounce 5-second or 10-second zone here, and then I would just take like 1-to-1 R's on this, which if you look, it's 3.5 points, and then I target less than 5 points. So this would be micro scalping with them. So I was at like 51,400, message support to like make sure I can get a payout because someone mentioned micro scalping in the Discord, and I took a look at it and I kind of invalidated their rule or whatever once or twice, and they're like, no, sorry, they got upset and they wanted to refund me. But now I'm on another one and I'm up 51,600 right now. So a few days, maybe get a payout, maybe blow it, who knows. But yeah, these are the trades for the day. Cheese.